So cool.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like, I'm sure you're torn between enjoying the privileges at the same time getting older.
Oh, well, not. I used to be so incensed when. Well, I wasn't 60 yet, and then the counter girl would ask, "Do you have any senior citizen, or would you be asking for a discount?" And I would be
Oh.
so incensed, and my daughters would say, "Mom, you're so vain." But now
Yeah,
I'm
you don't mind.
actually so excited about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's something that you shouldn't be worried about. But everybody's eventually going to be. Everyone's going to get old. But there's no other way to go about life.
Yeah, I
Ah,
know.
yeah,
There's no
yeah,
escaping it. So
There's no
might as
escaping it.
well
Yeah.
might as well enjoy it when it's there.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's
Diba?
sabi nga nila, it's a privilege given to so few. Growing old.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Grab it. Before, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Doc Ethel, but back in the day, maybe 19th century, the the mortality, the age is
The life expectancy.
life expectancy is like what, parang 40 yata.
When? What year was that?
Well, it was
Diba?
lower, definitely.
Early 19th century, 18th century yata. Parang
Ay,
ang
mga
agad.
40s? Ganyan lang yata eh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even lower. But the
Lower.
life expectancy significantly went higher in the advent of antibiotics. That is
Oh, yeah.
There you
in the
go.
1930s to
Right.
1940s.
Penicillin, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So less people died from, you know, what we consider trivial infections.
Right.
Yeah, and imagine tuberculosis. Tuberculosis that was
Mhm.
in the 50s or yeah, 50s, because remember that our president Manuel Quezon died from tuberculosis, which could have been easily curable.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Okay, Doc, we're set. Hey guys, welcome to Istoryang Futbolero. My name's Ron Poblete. I'm with Eric Madraso, our special guest for tonight from Pugad Bloggers and Ranjo Bandido, RJFM, Doc Ethel. Doc
Good
Ethel, good
evening.
evening.
Good evening,
Oh,
Ron. Good evening, Eric.
good
Nice to be
evening,
here
man.
again.
Oh, I
Yes,
know.
it's a
It's nice to
pleasure.
be with you again.
Uh-huh.
Galing, galing. Doc Ethel, I was watching you kanina sa Pugad Bloggers. Sa pag-usapan ni
Uh,
Doc Ethel kanina was Andres Bonifacio because it's Bonifacio Day today.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Diba?
Yeah.
And
November 30th.
it's unfortunate, Doc Ethel, for most people. You can't blame them, though, that we are used to taking our heroes' days for granted, like when it's Rizal Day or Bonifacio Day. They
Mm-hmm.
seem like far away from the past na hindi natin na-appreciate yung mga ginawa nila para sa generations
Mm-hmm.
after them, diba, no? And I remember before when during my Filipino class, I would actually fall asleep listening to my Filipino teacher talking about the two books that Rizal wrote.
Ah.
And
Uh, yeah. Kasi I think that the reason why people find history corny is that the way that it was taught to us, like it was rote memorization, like on what date, like in
mm,
examinations will be given matching type with dates and places, and
Right, right.
that's how it was taught, and
walang
it could
passion,
have
Doc
been
Eto, no?
Hmm?
Walang passion yung pagtuturo ng ating kasaysayan.
Oo. Oo, hindi tayo makarelate. What is it to us? No? What
Yeah.
is it to us that you know, the Katipunan was discovered by the Spaniards? What is it to us that Bonifacio was assassinated? What is it to
Mm.
us that, things like that? So I think that history has to be relatable. The narrative has to be relatable to the way that we live today. Diba?
Correct. Mm-mm. Tama.
Mhm.
I was listening to your show kanina, yung Pugad Bloggers, tapos yung guest ninyo, yung isang professor, diba? Doc Ethel, saan siya nagtuturo? Si Professor, yung guest niyo kanina sa programa.
He's currently teaching in Korea, but I think that he used to be with the Department of History in LaSalle in the LSU.
Okay. Okay. Kasi I think I found something. I actually heard something very interesting that he said about Bonifacio and how politics to us compared to other countries, we are more sentimental about yung ating a relationship with our country. Like parang when Bonifacio was pleading, was talking about how we can love our country, it has something to do with you know working hand in hand with everybody. Na dapat tulong-tulungan tayo, and
Mm-hmm.
and this has been floated around, especially during the pandemic, yung spirit of bayanihan, di ba? So in a way, timely rin yung mensahe ni Bonifacio sa panahon ngayon. For us to be able to, be able to overcome this pandemic and all the different issues na dumadaan sa atin. Tapos yung mga bagyo pa, ang daming, lalo, more than ever, ngayon natin kailangan yung bayanihan spirit na tinatawag for us to be able to reach the heights that that our potential can lead us to. So that was a very positive conversation you had kanina, Doc Ethel, about Bonifacio.
In fact, no, we're going to have a part 2 tomorrow, so I'd like to invite everyone to come and watch Pugad Bloggers tomorrow at 7 to 8 in the evening. Shameless plug.
Ikaw, Rick, ano ka ba dati? Mataas pa yung grado mo sa Pilipino o sa araling panlipunan?
Medyo mababa kasi Bisaya ako tayo, di ba? So, medyo hirap tayo when it comes to Filipino. But, na-appreciate ko naman yung history lessons yun sa Araling Panlipunan. It's just that, tama si Doc Effie kanina, no? Yung sinabi niya na most of the measurement, so nagtuturo si teacher, di ba? Nagtuturo, nagbabasa ka ng textbook mo. But the way you are being measured was multiple choice or fill in the blanks, no? So it's more of memorization than really understanding what happened in the past, no? Like in history natin. So parang bihirang-bihira yung mga essays natin when it comes to Aralin Panlipunan at Filipino. So yun yung I think napansin ko rin, no?
Mas mahirap kasi mag-correct ng essay siguro for the convenience of the teachers din yun, di ba? Kung minsan medyo madami ang workload ni teacher, so mas gusto niya na madali yung kanyang trabaho. Mahirap pag-correct ng essays.
when I was in college, I took up AB philosophy. And then we had this professor, si Professor Bong Eliab, no? And si Professor Eliab, he taught philosophy in Tagalog. So we would have English textbooks and we would discuss it in Filipino. So it made it doubly difficult. Alam mo yun? So parang, paano ba to?
It was triple difficult for you because your native tongue is Cebuano.
Yes.
And then your textbook is English, and then the discourse is in Filipino. in
Yeah.
Tagalog. So,
We had some material in Filipino, so that kind of made it easy. But the ones
mm,
that are in English, we really had to translate it into Filipino or in Tagalog.
mhm.
And that way, you really needed to understand what you were reading. Because you can't just translate it into Tagalog, right? You really have to understand the material before you do. So I think that
Oo.
actually helped us also in a way. Pero it was so hard. It was really so hard.
Oo, how do you translate the terms?
Oh, we had to ask him. He had all the answers.
Uh-huh.
So when we
What
say,
was the reason behind this, Rick, nga, na may iba talaga guro na gusto nila in Filipino ituro ang mga leksyon?
yeah,
Ito ba yung
marami
panahon
actually,
na nagkaroon tayo ng bouts of nationalism na I remember back in sa time ni Erap yata, yung parang yung curriculum na mas naging nagkaroon ng focus on using the Filipino language than English. Before that, Doc Ethel, di ba, magaling mag-English sa mga Pilipino eh.
Oo,
oh,
yung ating yung your grandfathers, your grandparents, my parents, no, were taught the American way, even yung kanilang the way that they did their calligraphy. There's a standard way that they had to
yeah,
write, no? So it's the American way. And during those times, yung medium of instruction is in English, was in English.
Right.
So, ang sabi nga, pagka nag-graduate ka ng grade school, you can already teach. Ganun yung because,
wow.
well, they were taught really well by the American colonizers.
Yung point kasi, Doc Ethel, ng ating topic for tonight, kasi siya, it's Bonifacio Day today. So it's our way to actually learn more about Bonifacio. But besides that, besides the fact that we need to learn more about our national heroes, we also need to figure out how to reach that point where we can be as patriotic and nationalistic as our heroes, because that's definitely that we need to work on as Filipinos. Kasi sabi nga ng ni Professor kanina, na yung message ni Bonifacio is the most, I think, important message right now, especially during these times, dahil, well, apart not only to be able to overcome the pandemic that we need to work together, but as a nation, if we can be more united, that's the only time I think we will reach the potential that we ought to reach, diba, as a nation. So ngayon, we need to find out where is it all coming from. Na-mention mo kanina na dati tayo naging yung 300 plus years tayo under the Spanish
Spaniard.
Spanish
rule.
rule, yeah.
Tapos may ang kasama pa nga ang Spanish sa ating curriculum, 'di ba? May bago lang sa panahon lang yata natin, Rick, na tinanggal yung Spanish sa sa college.
Yeah,
Diba?
hindi ko na naabutan yung Spanish. Oh, no hablo
12
Spanish.
units of Spanish.
So, nabutan mo niya yung Spanish sa college.
12 units of Spanish, imagine that. Mga 4 semesters yun, nagkakastila ka.
Correct. Tapos, yung sa panahon naman natin, Rick, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, ang hirap to be able to relate to, history from professors, yung ating mga guro noon na nagtuturo. Very mechanical po yung way of teaching ng Filipino and the history, di ba? And social studies. Sa atin parang it's such a chore to learn about Philippine history. Parang it's such a boring topic. Why? You know why? Kasi masyado tayong Americanized rin eh. Di ba, Rick? Yung
that is true.
Mga pinapanood nating programa, puro English or American movies. Tapos yung ating music natin, very foreign. We like UK, American artists. Yun ang mga and without us knowing, medyo na brainwash na rin tayo ng ating American colonizers eh. That's why
I think one of the
pinapaglaban ni Rizal at saka ni Bonifacio, talagang tama yung mga mensahe nila na, look, hindi tayo inoccupy ng mga country, mga bansa na to, mga colonizers na to, through arms.
Through force.
Through force, they won our hearts and minds by education.
By Hollywood, actually.
By Hollywood. Diba? Tapos mga palabas na gaya ng mga Top Gun nung talagang naging fans tayo nung younger years natin. Pinapanood natin si Tom Cruise. Papalipad ng F-14. Feeling namin, galing talaga ng Amerika. Diba? Parang
we were the way that we grew up, we were like little brown Americans, especially yung mga children in urbanized areas who are more familiar with the television shows, kasi hindi naman sa buong Pilipinas merong may television during our time. So yung may mga TV shows nung araw, ang mga TV shows, yung mga canned na Hollywood and na shows. So that's all that we were watching. So mas kilala pa namin sila, sino ba, mga younger than me knew more about Sesame Street than Batibot.
But it came in later na yun eh. Pero we grew up with Sesame Street, Bert and Ernie, Bird.
And then later on, Electric Company, no? So lately lang nagkaroon ng Filipino shows for children. But yung na-invite na nila muna yung Western na culture kesa sa Filipino culture.
Right.
I think that's one of the things that that attracted us towards the Western way of things is because of the creativity. I mean, the entertainment is really top notch. I mean, up to now, if you watch shows that are produced in the US or in the UK, makikita mo talaga yung difference than what we can produce here. You know, it's already 2020, but if you look at the movies and the different shows that air in Philippine TV, medyo ang layo eh. No, medyo malayo talaga siya.
Formulaic, may mga formula like it's always the same. Mga kambal na nagkahiwalay, naampon, ganon, yung mga nangangaliwa, nagsasampalan, iyakan, sigawan, sabunutan.
If it's a comedy show, it's always slapstick. Laging yung may batok, mga ganon, di ba? Tapos,
and it's after yan, Rix, tsaka Doc Ethel sa mga American shows, marami tayong mga programa na ginaya ng mga Pilipino sa mga Amerikano. Kita yung mga natin, mga sketch comedy natin, mga bubble gang, lahat may ginaya natin ng mga Saturday Night Live, yung mga comedians sa Amerika, tapos yung and even the shows like Batibot is basically based on Sesame Street. Tapos yung mga yung tabing ilog, alala mo yung palabas na yun.
Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek. My God, diba? Parang and it's basically one of the reasons why I rarely watch Filipino movies or shows, kasi paulit-ulit na lang eh. Lalo na yung mga drama, laging may iyakan, may sampalan, tapos ayaw ng parents ng babae sa lalaki kasi pobre. Alam mo yung mga ganun, di ba? So parang ganun na lang lagi eh. But there are some gems that come out of Philippine theater or I'm sorry, Philippine entertainment. Cinema. Right? One is yung kay sorry, medyo nakalimutan ko na yung title, but yung kay Joel Torre and Gerald Anderson when they were on the job, yun nagustuhan ko talaga yun. I'm like, wow, now this is a nice movie.
Yes,
Diba?
it is.
And and it kailangan lang kasi we need more movies like that can compete
Mhm.
with foreign movies, no?
Mhm.
Now that we're talking about entertainment, right? But we need our own flavor kasi dun sa movie na yun, wala masyadong ginaya sa States eh. Kasi yung setting bilibid, tapos kung ano yung buhay sa bilibid, parang ganun talaga. Di ba? Parang
Mhm.
pinakita talaga nila yun.
Mhm.
Although, medyo, tapos maganda pa yung ending. Right? Gustong-gusto ko yung ending na yun. So, it's really something that we need more of talaga. Kasi, for example, sorry baka sa mga probinsyano fans pero probinsyano parang pag pinapanood ko parang, ganun na naman. Tapos, mababaril siya, mabubuhay. Tapos, hindi ka na
Aha.
naman
Alam mo,
Medyo.
naalala ko
Oo,
Provinciano, parang
at saka,
yun eh, 24. Alam mo yung 24 na series, yung si
oh, yeah. Si Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer
Yeah.
Sutherland.
parang
Pero
ganun.
yung probinsyano, it borders on the impossible. Kasi kita mo yung si Jaime Fabregas, ang tanda-tanda na niya, hindi pa siya nagre-retire. 56 years old lang dapat sa PNP, retired
Oo
ka
nga.
na.
Oo nga. Exactly, di ba?
Hindi
Tapos ang
ba?
sasabihin nila,
Oo.
it's make-believe. But people need to realize that we need to relate also that this is true. It can happen and alam mo yun, kasi pag nakita mong medyo BS yung napapanood mo, BS na siya para, di ba? Parang,
But I think that the Filipino movies reach a peak during the 80s, pre-Aquino, between the 70s to 80s, because there was government involvement in the making of movies, and you had the experimental cinema of the Philippines, and those many movies were funded by the government, and we had the likes of Peke Galiaga, okay, doing his opus Oro Plata Mata. We had Mike De Leon, we had Ismael Bernal, we had Marilu Diaz Abaya, we had Lino Broca during those times. No, well, it probably wasn't only because of the support of the government, but those times were really turbulent, and that gave a rich material for the stories and the movies that they came out with.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that here in the Philippines, we have very, very talented writers. No script writers, no, yung mga ganun. It's just that yung mga pinipili ng producers is what sells. Right?
That's right. Imagine you have Shake, Rattle, and Roll 10.
Di pa ba sila maubos-ubos?
10 years ba yung Shake, Rattle, and Roll na talagang
I've lost count.
living daylights out of it. Na talagang in-exploit nila yung concept na yun.
Yeah. Tinalo po yung Fast and the Furious sa dami ng franchises ng sequels. But yeah, I mean, exactly, no? So parang, I think what happened was, the creativity became a business. No, parang yung cinema natin dito. So more on...
Formulate na talaga siya, Rick. Yung, usually, yung mga sinusulat na, pansinin mo yung mga programa sa TV and even the movies that come out, masyadong formulaic na yung matagal na to mga decades na rin to, Doc Ethel, di ba? Ganito na pag ano yung nag-work para sa kanila, talagang pipigayin yun hanggang magsawa yung tao. Kaya yung probinsyano hanggang ngayon nandiyan pa yung probinsyano dahil formula works. Why change it? Diba? And most of the writers from TV and movies, they're just a small group of people. They have like their point of view medyo homogeneous and it's a microcosm, Doc Ethel, of what's going on in society. We have like a select few who dictate the narrative for society, and then they pretty much control yung Kumbaga, they're controlling the way people think and type of programs that they should watch. And usually dapat yung media natin nakakatulong sa pag-enrich ng ating pag-iisip, di ba? Kaso, yun yung pinaka number one problem ng ating bansa. Kulang tayo sa edukasyon. Tapos may mga programa tayo na hindi naman nakakatulong dun sa doon. And it makes it worse for us, and it's taking a long time for us to reach certain goals as a society. Hindi tayo as advanced as the US or UK or any of these Western countries because of the fact that yung educational level ng ating karamihan ay hindi pa nandun sa level na dapat na saan sila. Well, obviously meron kinalaman dun yung poverty at yung and education is
Well,
bakit mga Ateneo
here,
I mean, UP is the only institution that accepts people from the 80% of our population na mahihirap. The other private schools, you have to be affluent to be able to attend these schools. So how can you possibly reach that level where it will really improve the standard of education for all Filipinos kung pati ang mga programa natin doesn't show that at all? Na walang actual effort on the media's part.
Pero magtataka ka, our neighbors, especially, case in point is Korea. You know how the Korean telenovelas compare to Filipino telenovelas? Their production is sumptuous, no? They really put so much effort in producing their telenovelas. At mga period, mga period, what do you call that? Productions.
Yeah.
So, hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit kaya ng mga Koreano na to come up with telenovelas that have historical context at maganda yung production value. Samantalang tayo, ang dami-dami nating pwedeng material na gamitin. Pero it's still nga yung profit lagi ang nasa isip ng mga producers.
Alam mo, Doc, yung example na Korea, may kinalaman yung state policy. Yung South Korea kasi, they really invested on making sure that their entertainment business kumbaga maging international ang standard. Tingnan mo yung BTS, sobrang popular sa Amerika because they understand that for you to reach certain heights as far as your influence is concerned, you have to really work on your entertainment industry. Yan ang model ng Amerika yung Hollywood kasi na enamor tayo sa Hollywood na parang wow, everything is so beautiful in America, we want to live there. Because we watch all these shows, diba, about the states, about how parang ang saya-saya tumira sa Amerika. Ganun ng Korea, they see that they understand how important it is to promote your culture internationally. So that's why they really invest in their artists, and you have like bands like boy bands like BTS doing well in the States. Na isip mo, tinitingnan ko ngayon mga comment section ng BTS na videos na they've done in the US. Diba? Meron silang mga sobrang sikat sila ngayon, diba? So tinitingnan ko yung mga comments, karamihan mga puti by their last names na nagko-comment about BTS na Korean band, and somehow they forgot that they're Koreans, no? Talagang they're really fans of the band. So if that can happen, and then there's a different kumbaga nag-iiba na rin yung acceptance na coming from a market like the US towards Asian artists, then there must be a globalization of sorts na nangyayari in the world, na it doesn't matter what color of skin you are, and the traditional point of view na if you're white, you're more superior, or if you're white, you're supposed to be a Hollywood star. Nawawala na bigla yun, nagbo-blur na yung demarcation between races, no? Na parang pansinin mo, meron rin Hollywood produced a movie, yung Rich Asians, Crazy Rich
Yes, it was based on a book. But yeah, it's really nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At saka ngayon nga, with political correctness being the rule, yung mga productions, a TV show has to have an Asian, has to have a person of color, has to have yung mga ganon, kailangan may balance. Yan ang kanilang gusto ngayon, hindi po pwede na yung buong cast ay puro puti, o kaya yung mga roles ng Asian gagawin ng isang Caucasian, katulad nung araw, The King and I, it's about the King of Thailand or King of Siam, and it was Yul Brynner who portrayed the king's role, and it was acceptable during the 50s, but today it's unthinkable because they will cry cultural appropriation and racism and stuff like that. Hollywood has become very political correctness conscious. Diba?
Yeah.
Dami snowflakes in Italy.
Kasi yun nga yun I mean, that's what some of the comedians are actually talking about in the US. Yung political correctness and being being not able to offend anyone is parang sobrang anong tawag nila, parang OA na masyado. I mean,
it's too much, extreme.
I think it's too much. I mean, it's nice that diversity is starting to be embraced in Hollywood and stuff like that. No, I mean, people in different walks of life and color can actually represent themselves, in cinema. But being politically correctness, let's say, for example, the term gay. Alam mo yun, you really have to be very careful in using that term now. Kasi hindi na masyado accepted yan. Di ba?
Even ba yung frowned upon, Rico, yung mga more demeaning na terms na ginagamit na bawal sabihin?
Like fagot, mga ganyan. Yeah, mas lalo na yun. So,
pati gay, medyo na rin, hands off na rin ba pati sa term na gay? You can't use that term anymore now?
I mean, I'm not the expert.
I think that you can still use gay, but people are very sensitive to, halimbawa, they prefer, ano nga tawag doon? They identify. If a person identifies as a woman, it's extremely wrong or offensive to call him a he.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, how would we know, right? I mean, yun nga yun I mean, sabi nga ng mga comedians, parang, look, I would call you a he or a him because you have a a penis. Parang that's why I'm calling you that, right? So parang hindi mo rin masasabi na mali ako, di ba? Parang ganun, di ba? So parang I think it's really a very gray line na hindi siya masyado well defined because what if for example what if I identify as a toilet, di ba? So you have to be sensitive on my feelings also because I identify as a toilet. Di ba? Parang it's actually so weird already, di ba? Parang
yung isang example nga dyan that happened recently was the RC Cola commercial, which we will talk about this Wednesday with a few advertising people. But yung gusto ko lang i-point out dun sa RC Cola kasi may nilabas talaga silang article sa newspaper about a few more senior people complaining about the commercial kasi it sort of parang depicts an adopted child. They find it very offensive. Ganun. Sabi ko, ha? Ano ba
I
to?
haven't seen that
Lahat na lang
commercial.
ng bagay kailangan reklamo. Lahat na lang, yung lahat na lang ng bagay, they
Yeah.
find offense, di ba? Parang,
Yeah, we're so
Oh,
easily offended.
no?
Snowflake nga eh.
No.
Diba?
I mean,
We are breeding a generation that cannot take a joke.
I
Cannot
know.
make a joke.
Come on.
Na parang na lang, if they get insulted, they'll cry right away and then cry foul. They can't even have an intelligent retort to something as, if you receive a stupid remark from somebody, answer them back in a very smart or intelligent way. Wala na tayong ganun na skill.
And then they'll cry bullying.
Bullying.
If somebody offends you, you cry bullying. Diba? So where does it end? Where do you draw the line? I mean, you have to toughen up your children so that small obstacles can be surmounted. Hindi po pwede yung na-offend ang anak mo you will cry bullying and you will go to the principal's office and complain about what happened, diba? We should allow our children to fight wars for themselves.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
That's what my dad told me when I was younger. I remember this so clearly kasi I went home with a bruise on my face. And he goes, tapos sabi niya, ano nangyari? Kasi gito, kwento ko, ganun. Tapos, ano ginawa mo? Sabi ko, wala. Sabi niya, ano ka ba? Suntukin mo rin. Sapakin mo rin. Ganun ako. Yes pa. So,
narinig yan ng mga wokes ngayon na ganun yung father mo. May sasabihin ka ganyan about your father. Ano ba yung father mo na yan? Diba? It promotes violence. How can you teach a child?
Yeah.
Diba? They'll call your father for saying that or for...
That is toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Well,
diba?
Ganito lang gusto kong sabihin sa mga wokes. If you have something to say about my father, you say it in my face. Then I will punch you in the nose. Ganun lang simple. Say it in my face.
People have to face nowadays na, I don't know, I'm afraid may kinalaman ng generation natin dyan, right? Kasi our generation have kids na who are also at that age where they're also the ones that we complain about being snowflakes. So I don't know what it is about our generation that we raise children medyo sensitive.
I don't know, man, because it's not just here in the Philippines.
I think it comes with yung snowflakery comes with another buzzword, which is entitlement.
Oh
there
yes.
you go.
They expect to be treated nicely, and whatever they want, they will get. They are entitled, so that if what they want does not happen, then they get all butt hurt. Okay.
I love that term. That's the best term ever. I mean, there's a lot of butt hurting nowadays, man. I can't imagine.
Ginagamit lang ni Doc Ethel yung mga terminology ng mga millennial, butt hurt, mga ganyan. Against them.
That's one terminology that I like from the millennials.
Sabi ni Francis Astilia, good evening sa inyong lahat po. We have a few messages here coming from some of our groups. Si Buboy Balanque, one of our new guests here on Istoryang Futbolero, who happens to be a former ABS-CBN employee. He now watches the program. And he's going to be on here Wednesday, Doc Ethel, to join us to talk about...
Buboy makes the best bacon.
Order na kayo kay Buboy. Yung smokehouse.
Smokehouse.
Sa Facebook, hanapin niyo yung smokehouse na page niya, tapos order his kick-ass bacon, right?
Di pa ako Boy, kung nanonood ka, sorry, hindi pa ako naka-order, pero order ako for Christmas, definitely.
Ayun!
You should.
Mga messages siya dito, sabi niya, Home Along the Riles actually is different strokes. Filipino movies also
true.
peaked with the advent of Bernal Broca Galaga, Mike De Leon, Batch 81, and ang problema, di nagsasawa yung mga tao. Yun, hindi nagsasawa mga tao sa mga programa at saka yung approach ng ating mga producers, directors, scriptwriters.
Oo.
Sa panahon
There
ngayon.
was a time pa nga, no? I think that kayo ay mga paslit pa. O baka si Eric hindi pa pinapanganak, no? Uso yung term na pito-pito. No? That was during the time of Mother Lily, Regal Films, that movies were produced within 7 days.
What?
Wow.
7 days lang. May movie ka na. So, ang tawag dyan, pito-pito. And they made quite a lot of money. Very low production values. Yung mga artista, hindi naman masyadong sikat. But kasi uso rin na yung mga bold nung araw, no? So, yun. In 7 days, you have a movie, and then you rake it in.
Galing, no? Galing, Doc.
Wala nang pakialam sa quality. Basta,
Yun nga eh. And that's the thing that I wanted to say kanina is when you look at a Hollywood movie, it takes like several months, even years to create one movie, right? Tapos maraming back and forth kasi there's the writing of the script, tapos may proofreading pa yan, tapos you hire their cast and you go to locations and stuff like that, di ba? You create sets and stuff. Dito wala eh. Parang bara-bara lang. Oh, dito na lang tayo. Rentahin natin yung bahay na yan. Tapos tayo mag-rent. Pero 2 days lang natin i-rent. So dapat madaliin natin yung 2 days na yan. Diba?
Meron nga storya na yung script ay sinusulat sa foil ng sigarilyo eh. No? So, gano'n. As they go along, so, nagsusulat sila ng script. Gano'n lang, no? What do you expect? 7 days shooting.
Yeah.
Grabe, no, Doc? Sabi ni Julio, may isang term pa akong narinig noon ay yung mga pene movies.
Oh.
Ano yung pene movies?
Yeah. In the 80s.
Ano yung
pene? In the 80s. Well, actually, pene is short for penetration. So, nauso yun yung mga bold movies to make it more, to make it sound better, bold movies. But they're actually soft porn.
Ito yung mga panahon ng yung mga Pepsi sexy stars, no? Sila Pepsi Paloma ba yan? O sila? Manuel.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bayani and stuff like that.
Bayani. Yun. Sabi ni J. Cruiser, good evening. Si Priscilla Kojima, senior citizen watching from Japan.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Tapos sabi ni Julio, 30, si Bill Mar, binabanatan niya, Mar? Di ba Mar? Mar yan eh.
Bill
Mar yan. Pustahan tayo. Bill Mar yan. Anyway, Mayor ba, Mayor?
Mayor. It's Bill Mayor.
Okay, sige. Sabi niya, binabanatan niya nung yung mga sobrang pa-wokes, yung mga political correctness sa ngayon ay OA. Pucha, ano yung paano ng mga sets ng mga stand-up comedian? Langya kung naabutan pala ng mga maninipis ang balat si Don Rickles. Tapos, di ba nagkaroon din, nauso rin Doc Ethel sa stand-up, nagkaroon din ng stand-up scene ng ang Pilipinas, di ba? Kaso lang, yung mga stand-up comedians natin, karamihan, are coming from the gay community. Tapos, ang kanilang brand of comedy is yung mga...
Yeah, that's during the 90s, no? Nag-upisa yan noong 90s. Yung the library, yung Zirco, yung mga establishments, no? Sa Quezon City, along... Timog, Morato, and also in Malate.
Diyan ba nanggaling si Vice Ganda? Si Vice Ganda dyan nanggaling sa sa circuit.
Yeah, Vice Ganda, Chocolate, Arnel Ignacio.
Okay. Si Arnel Ignacio naman, very smart naman yung kanyang comedy. I've seen his videos. Yung mga political videos na natatawa ako sa mga comments niya Yung may halong sarcasm, hindi yung kasi karamihan sa mga ating gay comedians very blunt. They just show you
it's full of sexual innuendos.
Oo. Pero si Arnel medyo malalim mag-isip So I appreciate that about him. Si Arnel Ignacio. No? Tapos sabi ni John Awaw, ayun pala, Edna Oshita is watching from Japan. Hello mga idols. And then we have John says, ako rin naman po, mga ka-futboleros fan din ako ng K-pop group, lalo na yung Twice, Blackpink, tsaka Red Velvet.
Wala namang masama dun Alam mo yun. Kasi,
although may yung artista na yun na or binibining Pilipinas candidate ba yun? Or na nagsabi na she doesn't like K-pop, tsaka bakit tayo sumusunod sa why are we following?
But, to each his own, globalization and everything. But, para sa akin kasi, if you really want people to support Philippine entertainment, Philippine artists, then make quality work. Wag yung 7 days lang, may movie ka na. Tapos, parang, ang nangyayari kasi ngayon is get rich quick schemes, para when it comes to entertainment na ang inaalala ng mga producers is, I want my money, I want to make money out of this. Ganun, yun ang una It's not really creating art, So, entertainment is also creating art because, for example, what K-pop is doing or yung mga BTS yan, Blackpink na yan, it's a form of art. And they do it very well. Look at their videos, Ron. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you've seen a music video of a K-pop band already.
Yeah, I saw just recently the video of BTS when they recreated the studio or the set of James Corden, and Night with James Corden actually posted their video saying that obviously out of na flatter siguro si James Corden na they copied every single detail ng set niya for that music video that BTS created. Ibang klase rin natin.
I'm gonna ask you right now, gagawin ba yan ng Pinoy? Hindi. Di ba?
May budget constraints kagad iniisip ang Pinoy Tsaka syempre yung bottom line ng iniisip natin. Dahil nga nasabi ni Dr. This practice has been going on since panahon pa ng kopong-kopong na lahat, paano ba tayo makakatipid at ma-maximize natin yung profit. So walang they don't really think about
but you know what, one thing that was phenomenal, General Luna. Nung first showing ng General Luna, siguro mga 1 or 2 days and then that's it, walang nanonood Walang nanonood. Hindi, John Arcilla was not a superstar. Okay? And then, pangalawa, walang mga love team. It is, sabi nga natin, mga history is boring. So, first day, second day, talagang nakita nila na walang nanonood. So, sinara nila. But, what saved General Luna was that people sat up and took notice of how good it was. And it was yung whatever they lacked in paid publicity, word of mouth saved General Luna, so that they opened up the theaters, showed it again, and it got extended, and then schools began requiring it from their students, requiring them to watch it. So eventually, it made money. So that's how it's phenomenal. If you'd ask me, it was.
Actually, Doc, meron yung mga new generation of directors who want to do it differently, or meron na din silang they're trying to veer away from the standards. Kaya nga meron tayong mga movies na lumalabas ng Netflix ngayon na created by made by, yung mga avant-garde natin ng mga directors na they know the latest in movie making, and they're applying it into their craft. So meron tayong generation of people or Filipinos who are doing that already. I think we just need it more. And in the same vein, dun sa ginawa nila sa General Luna, na sa umpisa, kasi something new, it's not the typical, hindi siya siniporta ng publiko. But dahil nakita yung quality, eventually naging something to watch because of word of mouth. And maybe the producer should take note that you don't have to create the same run in the mill na type of movies for you to earn money. You can always try to be more. You have to have a vision that this movie will do something positive for public consumption. And then maybe along the way, if you do it creatively, you do it well, people will watch it. Di ba sabi nga ng friend, di ba, Ethel, I'm sure you've seen the Kevin Costner movie.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come.
Yun yung perfect na analogy or saying when it comes to doing something different.
It's really storytelling, di ba? Movies is the people who write the scripts are trying to tell a story, right? And how the director, how the actors actually do it, it helps also in telling the story. The thing is with Philippine cinema is that the story is paulit-ulit. Okay, na lagi na lang ganito yung scenario na may mahirap na babae or lalaki tapos nakakrush siya mayaman. Yung mga ganun klase mga stories kasi yung nangyayari, and laging merong comic relief na bakla
or corrupt na police or tapos
diba? It's always like that so parang it gets
it's actually
old.
not even original because yung mga ganyang istorya panahon pa ni Charlotte Bronte at saka nung kapatid niya ni Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights is about mahirap na lalaki, mayaman na babae, umalis si lalaki, pagbalik niya, wow, mayaman na siya. So, yung mga ganon, di ba? It's not even original. So, it's sabi nga it's a tale as old as time.
Correct. Ganitong message ni James Huliganga. Good evening po. Content creators are tackling about this woke people, political correctness, and even feminists that wants to cancel stand-up comedy. Bill Burr and John Cleese is a good example of this. Merong tinatawag na cancel culture sa Amerika. Doc, have you heard of that? Cancel culture. Medyo related din sa ating pinapag-usapan ngayon na lahat na lang bagay people take offense of yung simula nagkaroon ng Me Too na movement, they took it to the extremes rin 'di ba, yung parang biglang na-empower yung isang group of people all of a sudden, like lahat ng lalaki na careful around women because of the
I mean, it's really it's sad that ganun na lang yung nangyayari, especially cancel culture, and it's happening also here in the Philippines. Kung may mali ka lang nasabi sa Facebook mo, unfriend ka na or ka na kaagad unfollow or whatever.
Tapos dami na sasabihin sa'yo, or i-message ka dun sa Facebook post mo, tapos magkakaroon, papagtulungan ka ng mga kaibigan.
Bobo ka na kaagad.
Ima-mass report ka na.
Mass report ka na. Ganun yung nila
and para sa akin, parang wow. Parang siya I have like 3 words for people like that. Grow up here. Ganun lang siya. Kasi people nowadays, man, they don't have balls anymore, and it's parang medyo nakakatawa actually.
Correct.
It's tragic. Since when have we become so intolerant? So intolerant of other ideas, so intolerant of other opinions. so intolerant of other beliefs. So that's how, the world gets more untenable because of our intolerance.
Yeah.
Do you think, Doc, ang question ko sa'yo, Doc, is, do you think the intolerance has been an underlying problem na hindi na ano lang it came to surface lang because of social media? It's always been there. The kaso lang, because of social media, people all of a sudden have a platform to air the things that they used to keep to themselves. Alam mo yun? Sa tingin mo, meron ba talagang certain degree of intolerance ang karamihan ng tao? Meron silang mga sariling preconceived na biases na towards people?
Palagay ko, it's been there since the beginning of time, yung intolerance. Intolerance nga during the time of Jesus, binabato, 'di ba? Yung mga taong they think sinned against the laws, no?
Right.
At in more recent times, intolerance, pagchichismisan ka. You can have a scarlet letter on your head, no? On your chest, di ba? During those times, magiging outcast ka. So it's never left, I think.
Yeah, that's a good
never
point.
left, and I think that it's being more amplified because we are more free to voice our opinions. And tama ka, Ron, no? There's more platform for that. So I don't know how we're gonna end up.
Walang filter. People can just air their frustrations or biases or yung kaya lang kahit na yung pinaka walang kabuluhan na comments makikita mo sa social media feed mo na ngayon. Tapos it doesn't help also the psychology of it all, like yung social aspect of it na mo just recently yung lead vocalist ng Slapshot nag-suicide. I mean, kung meron man silang within the band, it got exacerbated because of the fact that there's a platform to air their grievances against each other, which makes it worse for the people involved. And it's unfortunate for the guy to actually get to the extreme. Yun ang kanya naging solusyon sa naging problema nila. At it also, you can't help but attribute that Doc Ethel rin sa pandemic because people are isolated now, and yet we have social media where because of our isolation, mas yung frustration is amplified and yung levels are alam mo yun, sobrang taas ng depression ngayon sa ating mga kababayan na kung ano yung frustration nila left in their na nagbu-brew because of being alone during this pandemic, talagang nilalabas sila sa social media. At kung sino man yung mga may insecurities na sa kanilang sarili, ay lalong lumalala dahil ang validation na kinukuha nila sa kanilang Facebook, kinukuha nila sa kanilang Instagram, kinukuha nila sa kanilang YouTube. At pag yung validation na gusto nilang makuha, ay nadidepress sila at nalulungkot sila. So yung ating yes, it makes the world smaller, social media, but yung the catch is, 'di ba? Bigla na lang, lahat na lang mayroong platform, lahat na lang pwedeng magsalita.
Oo nga Napaka-ironic that we complain of isolation, but nakababad tayo sa social media. You're always interacting with people. Diba? So how can you be feeling so isolated while interacting with so many?
Right.
Ironic.
Alam mo, Doc, may sinabi siya about yan Si Elon Musk. In-interview siya ni Joe Rogan, and I remember this very interesting interview with him. He talked about there's so many interesting things about that conversation, but one of them is he said, in social media, what you see there is not really true. That's not real. Like they see beauty, people in their best, kumbaga in their best
Foot forward, parang ganun.
That's foot forward parati ang social media. What you see on Instagram, the Instagram culture is parang, they're enjoying their lives so much. Smiles, best angle, best everything, best showcase lahat nila yung kung ano yung mga material things that they have in their life. That doesn't really show you the entire picture. And then the sad part about that, and Elon Musk recognizes that the ones who see it now, who don't know any better, feel depressed because, wow, buti pa siya. Ganda ng buhay niya. Ako, I can't afford that, diba? So may ganun nangyayari, illusion and frustration from are engaged in social media.
There's one thing that I'd like to say about that. Everyone in this world is unique, right? And you really have to live your life. You have to define it yourself. It's nice to see good things. Nice things are nice to have, right? But you really have to know kung ano yung direction mo. Kasi if you just keep on wishing that you have the stuff that you don't have, that other people have, like the people that you follow in Instagram, for example, for example, six-pack. Kunwari Ron, di ba? May six-pack ako dito sa tiyan ko. Nakita ko yung macho dun sa Instagram na gusto kong maging ganyan talaga. Parang, bakit ako wala akong ganyan and stuff like that. Ako right now, at this point in time, I'm not bothered by it anymore because I know where I'm going eh. And hindi naman ako magiging model ever. Right? So I'm not gonna be paid money because of my six-pack. No way. That's never gonna happen. Kahit magka-six-pack ako ngayon, I won't get richer. Right? Walang mangyayari sa buhay ko. You really have to know first kung ano yung gusto mo mangyari sa buhay mo. And do you. Do you. Ikaw, you carve your own path. Again, it's nice to see that other people have Lamborghinis and stuff. Libre lang naman mangarap. But sa totoo lang, if I have a choice, for example, if I have like 100 million pesos right now, I will not buy a Lamborghini. Aanuhin ko yung Lamborghini dito sa Pilipinas, the roads that we have here. Tapos ang office ko nasa Makati. My God!
Hindi ko napapagano tayo kung ano yung mga pinapanood mo sa sa social media. Mga Lamborghini pa lang titingnan mo ngayon.
Ang pinapanood ko sa social media, big bike. Yun ang pinapanood ko.
Big bike ba?
pero alam mo yun, for example, may nakita akong big bike, BMW R90. Tsaka, maganda. Sobrang ganda naman yan. Pero it's 1 million pesos. Diba? Would I spend my own money, 1 million pesos, for a motorcycle?
Right.
Pero pwede naman ako bumili ng, kunwari, Royal Enfield or ng CF Moto na nasa 300,000 lang. Diba? So parang, pwede naman yun eh. Diba?
Ibang klase yung mga, yung hobby mo, medyo expensive yung hobby mo.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Pero, again, my point is, it's nice to have idols. It's nice, kunwari, yung sinabi mo kanina, Ron, di ba? Yung napanood mo yung Top Gun. So, lahat gusto maging Tom Cruise, di ba? Naka-aviator shades.
Daming bumibili ng ribbon nun na Doc Ethel.
Ribbon. Tapos, yung motorcycle ni, doon, ang daming bumili rin doon. Kasi, yung ninja na, tama. So, everybody wanted that. Pero, again, is it you? Is it gonna help you in your direction sa buhay mo? Right? Kasi, syempre, si Tom Cruise, ibang tao yun. And especially, yung character ni Tom Cruise doon sa movie na yun, it's a fake character. Right? So, you have to be discerning also on what you follow on social media. It's nice to look at, but it's not really,
Sabi ni Marvick Rick, Multiple Intelligences by Howard Gardner. Each of us has a gift and our own unique characteristics. Let's embrace our differences.
Boom! Okay. Embrace diversity. Thank you very much, Marvick.
Mhm.
You hit the
Alam mo,
nail.
yeah, people like Arabic. Like, let me read another message coming from her. I remember there other Filipinos trying to call the cancel Korea sa Twitter, yata yun. Last time dahil may isang vlogger na merong tattoo na nag-open up ng issue about Korean-Japanese war. At naalala pa rin daw ng mga Koreans yung pain na dala-dala ng ganoong bagay. Then yung ibang Koreans nagko-comment ng mga bagay na to insult Filipinos. Then both sides kept on trash-talking each other. Ayun. So, yes, the world is an imperfect place, Doc Ethel. Marami pa rin mga ganyang klaseng mga walang kwentang usap-usapan sa social media. And tama rin si Eric na talagang sometimes you have to, it has to reach a point where we have to evolve as a species, that we have to overcome yung ating tinatawag na lizard brain. Now it's all about, dominating and survival of the fittest, mga ganyan mga mentality that gets us in trouble. And people want to be right all the time. We can't take it when we're wrong. In our discussions on social media doesn't really reach kumbaga any resolution whatsoever. It just highlights that that we have a long way to go to evolve as a species. And but we have, alam mo ba sabi ni Elon Musk, one of the things that I also enjoyed about that conversation with Joe Rogan, sabi ni Doc Ethel, we're practically cyborgs now. Hindi lang na-realize ng mga tao yan. We are so dependent on technology now. We are with our phones 24/7 that we're practically cyborgs. I mean,
that's true.
The thing is, we don't use it efficiently, the technology. I mean, all these things you can learn, you can enrich yourselves by using your technology and by maximizing it. Ang dami niyong pwedeng matutunan gamit ang YouTube, ang social media, ang pwede mo, kaya na sabi na Doc Ethel, di ba? GMG.
No. Can you imagine how much social media has eaten up our time? How much time it has eaten up? How the average person? How much? How many minutes or hours does he spend on social media every day?
4 hours, Doc Ethel. Yun yung study 3 years ago.
4 hours?
4 hours a day daw ang gamit.
On an average.
Wow, that's a lot of time. Imagine what you can learn in 4 hours. 4 hours is like 4 classes.
Wow.
4 subjects in school. Diba?
Yep.
May question ako sa Doc. This is kasi your discipline is kumbaga it takes so much effort and it takes so much time to become a doctor. I mean, there's definitely discipline behind it, no? I mean, if you were to, like you said, if people can learn new things during this pandemic, what would be your recommendation in terms of making sure that you use your time wisely in learning new things? And what is our actual capacity in learning new things? Kasi sometimes people think they underestimate themselves na hindi ko na kaya yan, matanda na ako, hindi ko na kaya matutunan yan.
Oh, absolutely not. You know what happened the other week? I taught my 90-year-old father how to use Zoom. He's 90 years old, and I taught him. He learned it in a couple of hours. I mean, he had a hard time hitting or touching the right button, but he did. He learned. So, awesome. Age does not have anything to do with not learning. Okay? You can learn anything if your mind, if you put your mind to it. So, imagine.
Kaya nga, Doc Ethel, paminsan pag may, kung nagpapaayos ako ng sasakyan, and then I speak to a mechanic, meron na ako mga na-encounter ng mga mechanic. Sila mismo nagsasabi, ay, yan, pwede mong hanapin yan sa YouTube. So sila mismo,
diba?
naintindihan nila na there's just so much resource now because of technology. The world is so interconnected that anybody can ask a question on Google or on YouTube,
Yeah.
and then someone
Yeah.
out there has the answers, di ba? And paminsan natin
Mhm.
hindi natin nagagamit or na-maximize yung potential na yon. Now we tend to use the technology for silly things like, hindi naman silly, but it's fun, right? Like we're more inclined to use it for fun, like TikTok or
Yeah. You
cat
can.
videos or people banging each other or somebody falling into a big hole or yun yung mga yung preoccupation natin is to mindlessly watch videos all day long. But ako,
Mhm.
kaya ko, Doc, when I use the treadmill, I watch like yung educational videos na
Mhm.
topics that I used to find boring back in the day when I was younger. Kasi ngayon, I find it
Uh-huh.
siguro, I don't know, is it the age, Doc Ethel? When we get older, we find things more interesting than before? Like, is it like eating vegetables? When we were younger, we hate the taste of vegetable. Tapos as we get older, biglang mas palatable na siya. Ano ba yan, Doc? Ano
I think
have
it's
you
because of
experienced that?
necessity.
Yeah, yeah.
When you get
I would
older,
agree.
it becomes necessary. So you get
Yeah.
you psych your mind into liking it. It's
Mm,
like uh, when you need to learn something, you psych your mind into learning it.
right.
That's true. That's very
Mhm.
true. And it doesn't really whatever you find interesting, you can really really learn it. Simple as plants. Ang dami naging plantito, plantita ngayon, 'di ba?
Mhm.
Then
Mhm.
then a lot of my friends, sabi nila dati, green thumb ako, it's just gonna die on me. And you see them now, yung balconies nila, punong-puno na ng mga halaman, alam mo yun? So, wow, right? And
Yeah.
cooking and stuff like that. Simple things like that, di
Uh-huh.
ba?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
it's really, I mean, siguro tama rin siguro si Doc, no, when she said that it's out of necessity because as you grow older, you become more self-sufficient.
Mm.
Diba? I mean, kasi you have to stand up on your own 2 feet na.
Mhm.
Parang, uh, as soon as you step out of college and start working, you start becoming independent, right? Before, hindi ka marunong maglinis ng bahay mo, ng kwarto mo. Ngayon, kailangan na. Kaya hindi na pwede yung kalat, di ba? So you really have to learn that. And it shows also, no? I mean, Ron, I'm happy that you're interested in the things that you found boring before because again, nakikita mo ngayon yung value nun ngayon eh. So it's
Oh, yeah.
never too late. It's never too late to learn new things talaga.
Wala, life
Mhm.
is finite eh. I mean, iisipin mo, gaya nung if I can talk to my 20-year-old self or to my teenage self, I would tell him, uy, wag mo sayangin yung next 20 years mo. You can actually build something out of it. Like, at an early
Yeah.
age, learn so much so that when you reach a certain age that, yung understanding mo of the basic things in life can propel you to greater heights. Yun I think na natitake for granted natin kasi we're focused on chasing girls, driving,
Uh-huh.
Ikaw lang yun. Ikaw lang yun.
uh,
But I think I think that our parents have been telling us that. It's just that
Yeah.
sometimes we are resistant. We
yun.
hate being told what to do. So we ignore those things that are actually helpful for us. But we come to a stage that, oo nga pala, no? We realize that they
Yeah.
were right all along. When a situation occurs, it comes before us, and we realize, I should have learned this, I should have done that. This is what my parents were saying all along. I should have listened, yung mga ganon, no? Uh, Yun
Ito
nga,
daw,
ang leksyon no?
And
Sabi nga,
that's also,
youth is wasted on the young.
yeah,
yun, tama.
No? Oh,
that's true. But
oh.
but then again, um,
Ah,
it's a necessary stage kasi for us to mature, no? I mean,
Mm.
there are different levels of maturity. So as you realize these things, you tend to become more mature, right? But ako sa
sa
totoo
bagay,
lang, if I
si ano
if I
si
can talk to my to my teenage self, sasabihin ko, sige, enjoy mo lang yan. Kasi darating din yung panahon na magseseryoso ka rin sa buhay. Alam mo yun?
Totoo. But meron ka rin, marami rin kasi maraming tao rin sa ating society na medyo ageist, na they think when you're less productive or less talented than the younger person, di ba? Especially in our culture, when employers hire the younger people than somebody who is more experienced. So dapat magbago na rin yung mindset na yun, it doesn't mean if you're older, you're less qualified or you're overqualified or alam mo yun, because at the end of the day, yung experience is something that you can't, replace. It's very important to gain the experience for you to be able to be wiser.
You're wiser and you make better decisions.
Tama. You're less gigil. Kasi dati gigil na gigil ka eh. Parang you wanna do everything that you wanna do. Kasi when you turn 21, feeling mo, okay, hindi na ako kailangan magpaalam kay Papa or kay Mama. I can do whatever I want. Diba? So you do all these crazy stuff when you reach that age. Tapos gusto mo lang mag-enjoy. Wala kang responsibilidad sa buhay mo.
And that's the thing, Ron eh. Lahat tayo dumaan ng ganun na stage na parang pakawala, di ba? I mean, gimmick dito, gimmick doon, bakasyon dito, bakasyon doon, and spend money right like that. Okay na nga ngayon na some of us actually nagbago na, right? So medyo nag-settle down na, nagseryoso na, and stuff like that. But we still have some friends na ganun pa rin yung buhay hanggang ngayon. Agree?
Tama.
Diba?
Yeah, some just refuse to grow up.
Exactly. May Peter Pan syndrome sila, diba?
That's right.
So, ako, hangang-hanga ako sa kanila. I mean, bro, talaga, hanggang ngayon, alas 4 pa rin kayo umuwi ng umaga, lasing pa rin kayo umuwi and stuff like that. Parang, di pa ba kayo napapagod? Pagod na ako sa ganyan. Ano yun?
Look of disapproval si Doc Ethel.
Diba? I mean,
Doc, we want to take advantage of your presence here in this program. So we have like a few minutes remaining. So we want to ask you medyo yung mga medical related na questions. Especially on maintaining a good, healthy lifestyle. Kasi syempre people tend to, we do Google, we do look for mga health advice. We search on like what would be the best diet and whatnot. But if you were to recommend to people how to take care of themselves, kasi one thing that people take for granted, talaga, Doc, no? And I'm sure you agree, we take for granted what we actually eat and how that affects us mentally, emotionally, and even our physical body. And I know of people whom I thought were very healthy, bigla na lang they just croaked. All of a sudden, one day you find out, oh my gosh, what happened to that guy? He seems healthy, and then he dies. Diba? Parang, so there's something wrong with the way we treat food, the way we take care of ourselves. During the pandemic, Doc, what would be your health advice? Anong pwede mo?
Well, two things yun eh. One part of it is the thing that we cannot change, which is genetics. Some people are gifted with genes that no matter what they do, they smoke, they drink, and yet they have long lives. I know some people who, smoke and but that is not encouraging that behavior. Okay. The other one would be, lifestyle. You can, even if you have bad genes, you can even improve on your chances by taking care of your health. But the key there is one word: moderation. Okay? Moderation in everything. In eating, in your activities like sports or exercise, and in resting. So you cannot be an extremist and be happy or be healthy, di ba? So, moderation is the key. Hindi naman po pwede na, you're on keto diet forever. Or hindi naman po pwede na you can eat everything that you want. There has to be a golden mean, di ba? Hindi naman po pwede na every day you will exercise because you will wear down your body. You need rest. You need to have periods of rest in between your rigorous exercises. You have to have enough sleep.
How about fasting, Doc? What can you say about people who
fasting? Well, the good thing about fasting is that it will bring your weight down. Okay. So obesity can shorten your life. Okay, because of
complications,
the increase in heart diseases and other diseases like cancer that are related to obesity. Okay, so fasting in itself is a good way of bringing down your weight. Also, it has been found out that if you have a diet high in carbohydrates, high in sugar, your body secretes hormones and substances that can encourage inflammation. Okay? And inflammation has been found out to be the key in the development of many diseases. Inflammation in the blood vessels can clog your arteries. Chronic inflammation can encourage formation of cancer. So yung mga ganon, no? So diet is very important. You have to minimize or moderate your intake of carbohydrates, refined sugar, yung mga ganon. But that doesn't mean that you have to be zero carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are needed also in the metabolism of the body. So yun nga, moderation. Likewise, yung keto diet, some cardiologists would frown on it because it's high in saturated fat, and they say that can encourage heart disease because it increases cholesterol. It increases the possibility that some of these lipids will deposit alongside your inside your blood vessels and cause clogged arteries. So yung mga ganon. So I think that we have to seek the golden mean in everything that we do.
Kasi ang tao ngayon, Doc, extremes ang ginagawa parate. Like, if you want to lose weight, people will stop eating, yun nga, nagfa-fasting. Or keto diet, like which I did like for a few months and then stopped. I realized, Doc, Ethel, I did lose weight, kaso lang, may mga sumasakit sa katawan ko. dahil sa
kasi in keto diet, you have a lot of fat there and also a lot of proteins. So yung load ng protein mo can some people cannot tolerate that and they produce uric acid stones.
Yung arthritic na feel mo na parang sakit ng likod ko ngayon, or yung parang yung mga back pains mo.
Also, if you fast, yung body natin adjusts to the lack of food so that it lowers the metabolism. Okay, it sets the level of metabolism lower so that we expend energy less. So it's somehow counterproductive now, no? Because that's what fasting does. So intermittent fasting, so that your body does not adapt to that fasting condition.
Right. Okay. Okay lang ba kumain ng dark chocolate, Doc? I mean,
dark, naman. Sabi nila at least 70% cocoa. Yun.
Tapos, kasi kumain ng grapes, masama ba yun? Pag everyday kumakain ka ng grapes, more than a handful.
Grapes?
Masama sa wallet yun, mahal ang grapes eh.
Mahal ko sa grapes lately. Puro grapes yung kinakain ko.
But that's high in sugar. Even if it's a fruit, too much of it can be bad for you because it's high in
That's
sugar. So sa mga we tell patients who are challenged, they cannot tolerate high levels of sugar. 10 lamang, 10 grapes
10 grapes.
a day.
Okay.
Wow,
So
no?
yun.
Bilang na bilang, no?
Bilang
I mean, Ron, darating din tayo sa panahon na ganyan na rin tayo. Na talagang binibilang na talaga yung intake natin. Yung ano-ano. Kasi lalabas yung mga sakit na yan eh. I mean, right now, medyo, touch wood. Wala pa akong maintenance whatsoever. Every time nagpapa-APE ako, it's just the cholesterol that goes up. But if I go on, moderation sa food ko and I go on exercise, it normalizes. So, ganun yan eh. So, binabalikan ko yung doctor, Doc, okay na ba ako? Then he goes, yeah, okay na. Ganun. So, at least, no, I mean, but ako, ini-expect ko na balang araw, darating din tayo dyan.
And also do not underestimate the restorative value of sleep.
Yun.
That's very important.
That's true.
Sleep is very important.
Actually, nakakapayat daw yung tulog eh, sabi nila. I mean, it normalizes the body daw, something like that. And it keeps you from eating.
may Rick, na ano siya, sobrang grabe mag-exercise, parati siyang anong tawag dyan, cross training, ano yung popular
CrossFit.
na CrossFit, madalas siya mag-CrossFit. Tapos, weekends, very active guy. Kaso lang, ganyang magising araw-araw, 5:00 ng umaga, parating gising, tapos long hours at work, tapos, and then he goes to the gym after his work. So parang wala siyang pahinga. Tama ka, Doc. Tapos nagka-stroke siya. And so, doon mo masasabi na kailangan mo rin talaga magpahinga. You need to rest. No, Doc?
Alam mo kasi, lack of sleep, our body recognizes that as a form of stress. And yes, when there's stress, our stress hormones go higher. So the stress hormones can increase our blood sugar, can increase our blood pressure, can increase the lipids in our body. So it's really bad, lack of sleep, because that's a form of stress.
Okay. What's your recommendation, Doc? How many hours should you 8 hours of sleep ba talaga dapat a day?
Yeah, at least 8 hours of really restful sleep. Kasi yung iba, they toss and turn. So, parang hindi rin sila naka-rest. Lalo na yung may mga sleep apnea. People who snore. May appear sleeping for long periods of time, pero yung talagang beneficial na sleep, konti lang sila because hindi pa sila in the zone ng restful sleep. Nagigising sila because they are snoring and yung oxygen level nila sa katawan bumababa, so they wake up. And it's really bad for the health, especially for the heart. It increases the blood pressure and it decreases the amount of oxygen, which is bad.
Right. Wow. Okay. That's a big take again, Rick. Thank you so much, Doc, for that advice. Kasi paminsan yung sleep we take for granted because of Netflix, because of Zoom, because of chika on the phone, because of so many things na
Netflix,
YouTube. Wala kang ginawa sa habang nakahiga sa bed mo, tumitingin ka ng YouTube, tapos bigla na lang 1 hour passes, 2 hours pala. Uy, wala ka naman. Doc, what time should you sleep already at night? Anong pinaka-best optimal time na dapat matulog na ang tao?
Depende kasi sa routine mo eh. Some would sleep at 10 and then wake up at 6. So that's about 8 hours of sleep. At least a total of around 8 hours. But some
before,
people, when they get older, they wake up earlier. They
yeah.
have, it seems like they have less sleep requirement. So
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
What do you naman, Doc?
Yes.
What do you naman, Doc?
Paglaban natin yan,
Tapos,
Doc.
sabi James, Ron suggests you watch the talk of Dr. Robert Lustig, Pure White and Deadly, and New Carb Loaded, A Culture Dying to Eat, a must watch. Thanks, man. Thanks for the recommendation. We would like
Nice.
to thank also our viewers tonight, si Jojo Dagmante, Marivic Solis, G. Ibor, si Fel Fresco, Ronilo Kasupanan, and James Ulingaga, Jennifer Lopez, Ronilo Kasupanan, Faye Fresco, Don Pelonio, Julio Trenta, Cruiser J, Priscilla Kojima, Edna Oshita, Jan Awao, and also Miguel is watching, one of our hosts sa Istoryang Futbolero. So meron siya, nagka-camping siya with the kids outside his
Oh,
house.
sarap!
Sa
Well,
kanyang
nasa
Sarap!
garden.
Iba talaga pag may lawn, ang isa.
Okay. Iba talaga pag may front yard.
Oh.
Si,
Speaking of camping, I'm an advocate of sun protection. So
okay.
if you have outdoor activities, make sure that you wear your sunscreen because it will save you from the grief of having skin cancer,
Skin
and also
cancer, yeah.
for those who are vain, it prevents you from having premature wrinkles. So,
Yun mo si
Oh, yeah.
healthy because that's her specialty. She knows how to
uh,
take care of
Oh,
her
yeah.
skin. And she, people consult to her about skincare and whatnot. Diba, Doc? Tama ba? Is that accurate? Doc, do you have clinics all over, or if they want to get advice from you, how do they? This something that you do? Do you promote your clinic?
I'm just, you know where my neighborhood is. So I have a clinic in SM South Mall, so you
Oh,
can
there
go
you
there. Uh-huh.
Nice.
I still, because of the pandemic, I haven't been going to the hospital clinics. So it's where I am most of the time, in the mall, in my mall clinic.
Do you do
So yeah.
teleconsult, like
I
online?
do. I do teleconsultation. So those who would like to
Yeah,
consult can reach me via Facebook or Facebook
yeah,
Messenger. So we can set an appointment for that.
you go. And then don't forget
Nice.
Doc Ethel's program, yung Pugad Vloggers, nasa
Mm-hmm.
RJFM, yung
Mm-hmm.
Radyo Banyo. And si Doc Ethel, and she's also, she has, go read her post rin on Facebook. Very interesting. Ano rin to one of yung tawag nating voice of reason sa social media, Doc Ethel.
Mm.
uh,
Rick, what's your
I,
big
I
takeaway?
I think when you get older, uh, you tend to be more moderate in your
Yeah.
approach to things.
Yeah, that's true.
Some would think that is selling out. You're not as fiery as before, but I think that you'll be able to influence more minds and more people when you are
Calm.
moderate. So you
Moderate.
open the door for discussion, diba?
Tama.
Kasi some people are really so fiery and
Right.
passionate that
Get scary
natatakot na yung iba to this
to
to have a
engage.
discourse with you, no?
Correct.
That's
Oh.
true.
Good advice, Doc Ethel. And just to wrap up our program, Rick, I just wanted to say that the reason why we are talking about health, we're talking about improving yourself, we're talking about to be more patriotic, and to learn more about our heroes, because it's Andres Bonifacio Day today, is because we need to reach a level of understanding when it comes to what we need to do as a nation, diba? Uh, we can only hope that at the very least our viewers can understand the value that they contribute in nation building. Improving yourself means improving the nation. That's one thing that you have to
Correct.
consider, diba?
Mhm.
In terms of
Yep.
education, in terms of health. If we are healthy as a nation, if we are getting smarter as a nation, everything will just follow suit, and your lives will improve, and we can be as one. Kung yung sinasabi nila sa ating mga government promotions at campaigns. What's your big takeaway?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone, no, and especially Doc Efe. Thank you very much for being here again. Really appreciate the inputs that we get from you, and really my big takeaway is the Philippines right now kind of lack on the nationalistic vibe. Masyado tayong influenced by other countries, but it's also born from siguro the lack of things to be proud of in the Philippines. Um, I
Or
think,
years of subservience, or yung
sorry.
tinatawag natin, di ba, being colonized by a long time by countries, that
Yeah,
didn't help.
it did help. There are some good things that came out of it because may mga relations tayo with these different countries and stuff, and and we learned some good things from them also. It's just that we don't have so much things that we can be really proud of. For example, in the 1980s, 90s, we were very proud of Boracay, for example. And when the early 20s came in, sobrang pangit na ng ano, no? May lumot na and everything. Sobrang commercialized na and stuff. So, ako sa totoo lang, if people say, no, Boracay is really great, no? Sasabihin ko, no, just go to Siargao. It's better there. Parang ganun na lang yung sinasabi ko before. But now, inayos na, nalinis na yung Boracay. We can be proud of it again. We touched the point in Philippine entertainment as well. Medyo, we're proud of them. They've really achieved a lot. But it's just parang kulang pa eh. There's so much that can be done so that we can actually be really proud of our country. Now, ako sa totoo lang right now, I'm proud to be Filipino. I'm proud to be Davaoenyo. I'm proud to be Bisaya. I'm proud to be who I am. And I show that. I show that to everyone na you can't take the Bisaya out of me. You can't take the Filipino out of me. Kumbaga, because this is who I am, right? And as I've said kanina, you really have to define yourself first before you can actually do things and make a direction. Kasi if you just keep on following other people, like kunwari, idol ko talaga masyado si Tom Cruise, lahat na lang ginagawa ni Tom Cruise, yun na lang, di ba? Parang wala kang self-identification, kumbaga. You'd be the person known to be as the Tom Cruise wannabe. Something like that, di ba? So, you'd rather be known as the Ron Poblete, the Eric Madrazo of this world, of this place. No?
Or
And
embrace
and
your Filipino identity finally, because that's something that's
yeah,
missing
man.
about our society in general. We have to
Yeah.
embrace our culture more
And and
more
and
wholehearted.
yeah. And lastly, about health. Actually, marami ang natutunan kay Doc Ethel ngayon. So, regarding sleep, regarding moderation and stuff like that, no? And those are tips that I need to follow. Kasi when I eat, parang walang kinabukasan eh. Parang, I really grew up with a huge appetite. And now that metabolism is going down, medyo it shows na. So,
Yeah. Kind of
so
like anything, stage more.
oo nga eh. Yeah, I'm right there. That's why tumitingin ako ng mga big bike ngayon ron eh kasi nasa midlife crisis na ako.
Okay, Ethel, do you have any last words to say to our audience?
Last words. Well, you see how we're lucky to have a president who is a game changer. Kanina pinag-usapan natin yung colonization and being controlled, no. And lately we've pushed back against people who are controlling the narrative. So, and also Eric has mentioned about changing Boracay, the many changes that have taken place after this president was elected. He was the one who made it happen, the cleaning up of Boracay. So there's a lot to be grateful for in having this president. What else? So I think that we should continue supporting the president, and aside from that, to make this country better than what it was before, we should continue feeding our minds and making our bodies healthy, so that we will not be a burden to society, and at the same time we'll be contributing more to its development. I think those are the things that we should endeavor and we should work for.
And with that, Doc Ethel, all I can say is how to be you, how to be 60 and fabulous. Diba? Ay, nako, Doc.
I'm just so happy to have a senior citizen discount.
Congratulations again on that milestone.
And congratulations on your daughter for becoming a new doctor. I think she passed the.
Yeah, I'm over the moon with that. Really,
Nice.
I'm so happy. So
good job, Doc. So dalawa na kayong doctor sa family, Doc.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
I'm so glad. I'm so proud of my daughters.
Right. So Doc Ethel, thank you so much. Hope to catch you again soon. We will definitely watch the program tomorrow night on Pugad Bloggers.
There's more history tomorrow.
Yes, more history tomorrow with Professor what's
Bani Bienas.
Yon, Bienas. So check him out tomorrow. Pugad Bloggers, 8 o'clock with Mark. Mark Lopez will be with you tomorrow, Doc Ethel.
All right.
Awesome. Rick, thanks, Rick. Doc Ethel,
thank you.
Everyone. And si ano din, somebody all the way from Vancouver. Good morning, Nelson Obligar. Si Nelly Ortiz, Michelle Atang Chui. She says, I think I missed a good episode. And si Len Peralta, proud of the famous sunset of Manila Bay in the city of Manila for cleaning some of the famous historical landmarks. So it's right there, guys.
Is there a link? Is there a link that we can post for a replay of this?
Yes. Doc, actually, sa private chat natin, nandun yung link. I actually sent it to you. You can share it on your timeline. Yon.
All right.
Thank you, Doc Ethel. Galing. Thank you for your, we enjoyed your presence here.
Anytime. If you want to, you want to feel young, you talk with young people.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
If we want to gain more wisdom, we just have to talk to you, Doc Ethel. Yun eh. Yung quid pro quo natin sa programang Istoryang Futbolero. Tapos, don't forget, Wednesday, guys, come back here. Same time, 9 o'clock. We're going to be with Buboy, Celine, Sarah, hopefully Mikel and Eric to talk about the RC Cola commercials. Fun. Maraming masasabi si Buboy doon. He didn't like it, but I thought, it wasn't that bad. So we'll find out more about advertising this Wednesday on Istoryang Futbolero. Yun. Doc Ethel, good night.
Good night. Good night, Eric.
Good night.